Why do you think this is the case? It's a trend that is becoming very disturbing. Niger State, landslide for the PDP. Of course, the state controlled by the PDP. Lagos State 3 years ago, it was landslide controlled by the ACN. You go to some other states where, different political parties control. It's always the case. Why is this the case?
Well, Deji, I think it's either of two things. Either the states where these local governments are located have gotten it right, or that something is wrong. Now, there are too many people that will tell you that Nigeria is not working as it should work. And that means that all the component parts of this country, the states, the local governments, and so on, are not working.
But do you
properly.
Really think local governments are performing? Especially here in Lagos.
Well, there's a general consensus, and when I mean consensus, not just in Lagos State, virtually across the country, that local government councils are not performing their statutory roles to the people. They are not doing enough to provide for the welfare of the people. And then again, the corruption that has also been the bane of this country across, the other organs of government, across, the states and the federal government and so on, is also playing out deeply within the structure of the local government council areas, and that is why some of them have not been able to fulfill their obligation across the state, north, south, across the country, north, south, east, and west. In Lagos State, you also have that kind of impression that the local governments in the state are not really performing up to scratch, and that if there is any benefit some of them are getting, it is that they are riding on the back of the governor, who is perceived to have done creditably well, to a very large extent. And so from that perspective, you look at the state of the schools, in as much as, yes, some of the local governments, in partnership with the state government, has tried to do something to upgrade the school. But you go to some of these schools and you find out that they do not have very good, toilet facilities. Most of the schools, public schools in Lagos State. That is not to say that the government has not been doing anything in that direction, but still they have not been able to do much. And then at the level of roads, some of us also live within these local government councils. There is much more, that needs to be done. What they have done, is not again up to scratch. So one would expect that, as the government that is supposed to be nearest to the people, the government, that is easily accessible to the people, that you want to expect that they would feel more the pains of the people, the needs of the people, and they go out of their way to ensure that whatever mandate they have from the people, that they go out to ensure that they fulfill these mandates. I do not believe that we can simply beat our chest and say, yes, it is well with the local government administration in this country.
That would be a clear indictment on you. But just before you react, I want you to react here. This trend of parties sweeping the polls, if a party, for instance, in Lagos State, where the ACN is in charge, because of what we have seen in the past, it wouldn't be any surprise at all if the ACN wins a landslide come Saturday. It doesn't bother you at all? You're not scared?
I am not scared at all. I am 100% sure that...
Even though your party is not exempt from that trend anyway, your party also does it.
Yeah,
your party just won a landslide in Niger State, winning everything, 25 local government areas, winning everything.
Kudos to the governor of Niger State.
Oh, really?
Yes, I am not...
but if it happens in Lagos State, what would you say?
If it happens in Lagos State, the people of Ikoyi-Obalende will fight. They will not take it lightly, because they have shown where they are going. The direction is clear. I can tell you that much. You can do your research, go to Ikoyi-Obalende, talk to residents of Ikoyi-Obalende, and ask them who their candidate for chairmanship is, and their response will be IBO.
Let me get your view now on the issue of joint local government account. What do you make of that? Do you think it's an idea that should be allowed to continue? Because the president has said, he would be willing to change that arrangement. He would want a situation where local government funds go directly to the local government chairman.
I think that would be the best thing for the local government, because I think it's a body on its own. It's the closest arm of government to the people. It sees and hears the problems of the people more. So I think if we have our own independent resources, it would help them better in achieving their projects.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I'm a believer of a joint account, A joint account in the sense that...
Are you saying this just because you're the chairman
No.
that you benefit from the process?
I will tell you from this standpoint.
And in any case, you wouldn't want to go against your governor?
No. I will tell you from this standpoint. You see, the ACN is very liberal. It allows for individual ideas to come up, and we juggle ideas, we discuss, and the discussion is very robust. So we also subject ourselves to superior argument. That is the ACN. But basically, I ascribe to joint account to the extent that we pull all our strengths together, the resources, and of course, we tackle issues jointly. Ideologically, conceptually, we tackle these issues, and we also create a system of monitoring, assessment, feedback, and all of these things. To that extent, I agree to a joint account.
Supposing I say to you, Ibrahim, that if the PDP was in control of the state and the PDP controls basically the entire local government areas in this state, you wouldn't be sounding like this. You would, of course, be in favor of the joint account, as we have seen the PDP, we've seen the PDP does that in other states where it controls. We've seen chairmen of local government areas in, state controlled by the PDP come out to say they don't want the current system to remain.
Well, like you said, the president, who happens to be the leader of my party, just said he wants a separate account. So that means our party does not necessarily favor or in support of a joint account. We are independent. We are more liberal. That is hence why we would suggest...
You're more liberal than the
Yes,
ACN.
hence why we will suggest a separate account. Let the local governments take care of that responsibility by themselves. We don't need a state to come and take care of our drainage for us, to come and take care of our trash for us, even our signage, revenue, everything has been hijacked by the state. We don't need that. Let us operate individually. Because
and that's where the problem is. If you were elected, chairman of your local government area, and you possibly, this is just probability now that you probably become the only PDP, or probably maybe the second PDP voice now in the whole setup. You think you'd be able to operate very well?
Yes, I will be, because it's an independent arm of government. It's not like the assembly where everybody goes to the assembly to work.
But you still would not be able to change the joint account then?
Yeah, I would not be able to change the joint account, but I will work with the joint account, because that is what I have to work with.
And you would work with the governor, of course?
Definitely. I'm a team player.
You're a team player.
Yes.
All right, let me go over to you, Achike. The joint local government account has always been a problem. The president has come out to say he would want to change it. People have come out to say, well, that is what actually one of the things that drive corruption in this country, and it makes our governors corrupt.
Well, Deji, do not forget that in the past 12 years of the country's unbroken democracy, that one of the recurring decima, with regards to local government administration, has been the fact that state governors tend to withhold, most times at their own pleasure, the monies that are meant for the local government areas, and they release them only at will. And in some instances, they do not release as much as the local government areas are entitled. And if you look at some of the cases that are ongoing with at the EFCC, some of the accusations that have been leveled against
that's very correct.
Yes, against some of these governors have been based on the fact that of illegally withheld their funds from the local government councils. Now, you see, when the people of a local government area go for election to elect their local government chairman and councillors and so on, there's the underlying assumption that these people are going there to perform independent of any governor or any political party and so on. That is the underlying reason behind the fact that they have gone to to cast their lot. And so any attempt by these state governors to continue to hold on to council funds is not in any way in the best interest of the local government councils. And so I think it is one thing that should be discouraged. And I think the National Assembly is already doing something in that direction. They are looking at ways with regards to the present amendment to the Constitution. They are looking at ways to strengthen some of the bottlenecks that have blighted the performance of the local government, and then to strengthen them in a way that would make them much more independent and from the overall control of the governors of the states where they are found.
All right, let us move slightly a bit away from that, and let me just ask you this: pointedly. How do you see the local government elections coming up on Saturday here in Lagos playing out? Between the PDP, of course, we all know it's a two-horse race between the PDP and ACN.
Well, I think it might be premature to describe it as a two-horse race. I know that there are some other political parties that are involved in that. I know that CPC is involved in, I think, about 27 local council, 27 council areas, as well as I think the National Conscience Party also is also involved in some of these.
So how do you see it playing out?
Well, I think it is going to be keenly contested, but again, do not forget that in your opening, especially when we saw the pictorials with regards to the local government election in Niger State, that there was, lamentation really about the very low turnout in the those elections, and that signals something to you. The fact that our people are still not very aware that perhaps one of the most important elections you can talk about in this country is the local government election, the one where the people or the leaders at the local government are the closest to the people, unlike that of the state government and then the national government. So I want to believe that it is going to be a keenly contested election among those that are already involved in it. Of course, you know that the ruling ACN is already on ground. They have the structure, they have the wherewithal, and then the resources, I think, to conduct this election. But there are others that are also very, very keen on displacing the ACN. And the fact that the ACN lost one of the council elections in Ikorodu is clearly a signpost that if other political parties have messages that are very clear and they work very, very hard, it is not an impossibility to unseat